oversee the National Education Forum. One of the key promises President Mahama made in his 120-day social contract, and also in the manifesto itself, it was captured. I have in studio Professor George K. ODURO, who is Chair National Education Forum Committee, technical advisor to the Minister for Education now, and of course Dr. Sam AWUKU, who is a member of the committee, was a member of the committee, because now it looks like their work is done for now, unless the president calls them back to do something else related to implementation, and also an independent education and development consultant. Thank you once again, gentlemen, for joining us. We have to wrap this up. A few things. Prof, let me start with you.
Okay.
One of the things I realized from your manifesto is that the suggestion was that you are trying to also put a lot more emphasis on technical education. Because social democracy, the root is usually traced to Germany. And the Germans are more focused on the technical when it comes to education. To what extent did that feed into perhaps what you heard at the National Education Forum? Did you hear an interest of the Ghanaian in moving away from this grammar education to more of technical education?
Yeah, if you look at, I mentioned that we had to concentrate on 212 recommendations.
Okay.
Now, 2 or 3 key areas scored the highest.
Okay.
1, basic education.
Basic education.
31 of the recommendations were linked to basic education.
We're linked to basic
education.
Okay.
Demonstrating the importance that stakeholders assign to basic education. Now, when we come to TVET, 27 of them
27
recommendations.
Okay.
So this should tell you the importance that the stakeholders attach. So that fit very well into the manifesto.
Okay.
Promoting. And just as Sam was saying, that's why we have the third component of the apprenticeship.
Okay.
To create pathways ways for people. But I want to re-echo the idea of guarding against labeling.
Okay.
Because that hasn't been. My brother, it was very worrying to note during the interaction and others where some parents were concerned that if you go to the oil fields initially, when we need middle-level manpower to work on the oil fields, Ghana didn't have them.
You had to bring them in.
Even though we have technical universities in the country.
Okay.
And that is what makes it very important for us to look at the apprenticeship path.
Okay.
And also, recently, the Minister of Education has suggested that we need to go back and create at least 1 polytechnic in each of the 16 regions to get a hands-on, competency-based training, because technical universities now, a number of them are skewed towards social sciences and others. So how do we get? So the technical component, the government believes that the development of our country depends largely on skilled manpower, and therefore there should be priority.
Okay. And then there's one other issue that I also realized. You said so far 25 billion cedis. Up to what's spent on free SHS?
Yeah, so cumulatively over the period up to 2015.
If you are spending 25 billion up to around 2025 on free SHS alone, that basically will starve the rest of the of funding. Yeah. And of course, I think the biggest the one that suffers is basic.
It's a basic.
So if your proposal is keep it like this in the short term, how did you define short term?
So the short term, we're looking at the first 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first 5 years is a short term. So immediately until 2029.
Okay.
2029, because our current education strategic plan actually traveled up to 2030.
Okay.
So from now until that time, as we're still working on that, we need to be putting in structures that the next education strategic plan need to start looking at the new thing that we are talking about. So that's how we have done it. We have been very intentional to ensure that where a new government comes and then things are put on hold or stopped, when it comes to education, there will be consistency.
Okay.
It's just a matter of how they are implemented, right? So we're very, very intentional about that to make sure that the recommendations. That's something we actually did when we were writing the report, to look at the recommendations coming. How do they align with the education strategic plan that is currently in the system? What are the things that need to be changed without throwing away the plan?
Okay.
Right. So we front-loaded those issues, calling them the short-term things, so that the new plan will still be relevant. And that is good for every development thing to be done. You don't throw away your plan and say, you look at what is relevant. And luckily for us, during the engagement, all the opinions gathered, you can see the reflection of what is in the plan already. Those are front-loaded as short-term plans. Then we can then look beyond that and say, okay, what are the new things that need to be in the next plan?
Okay.
We hope that it will continue that way. So the next plan that will be 2031 to maybe 2040 should be able to reflect some of these long-term things that we are talking about. But I said earlier as well that as we are implementing, consultation is continuing.
Okay.
It's a continuous process.
Okay.
You don't go and engage with people. When you start implementing, then you say, oh, I've already got your idea from the beginning.
Okay.
Then I don't need your opinion again. Go back and account to them. And this also motivated by the president's address at the launch of the forum.
Okay.
I remember vividly he's saying that he will come back to stakeholders to account for how he's implementing the opinions they will give to him.
Okay.
Right? So we know that he will keep his promise.
Okay.
And then in one way or the other will be annual accountability, whether through the National Education Week or any other platform that will be created for citizens to hear what is being implemented and what changes they think needed to be made. And that would then lead us to the next term, and then the medium term, and then the long term.
One thing that's very good in this one is that if you look at previous reforms, many of the reforms were initiated at the tail end of government. So the reform come out, and then there's a change of government, and it creates a problem. This one is coming at the beginning
of the government. Okay.
So it offers us more opportunity to evaluate and put things in place.
And perhaps revise.
Revise where possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. We have to leave it here. My time is spent anyway.
Is that okay?
Yes. I don't know if you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, a quick one.
Okay.
That one of the things that have not helped us as a nation is the politicization of education.
Okay.
This reform, we are waiting for the president to get a white paper, has come out of national engagement.
Okay.
The committee members themselves were not extreme partisan people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so it's the president wants a national orientation. So my appeal to fellow citizens is that let us depoliticize education system and collectively support the president in implementing the recommendations that the committee has made.
Let me conclude by asking you. Now I'm going back to that question. How did you not attend senior high school?
Oh, okay, a very quick one. My parents could not afford it.
Okay.
My father and my mother gave birth to 10 children.
Oh,
yeah. We needed just two to make it a football team. Yeah. So when I completed, I passed a common entrance.
Okay.
But then things were into. But my dad was very, very encouraging. He kept advising me. I remember two things that he told me. He says,
okay.
It is the Lord who cares for the tailor's bed.
Okay.
Then the second one is, humility will send you where money could not. So through his counsel and support of others, I had to study privately.
Okay.
Went to the Teacher Training College, and I thank God that I've been to one of the best universities in the world, University of Cambridge.
Okay.
Yeah, so counseling is very critical.
Great.
Very good.
Like Prof got value education from his father. That's what we are moving towards. I want to thank you to you, Prof.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
now that you are technical advisor to the minister, perhaps we'll engage a bit
Oh
more.
yeah, sure.
Yes, we'll
sure.
engage a bit.
Especially when the white paper comes.
Yes,
out.
We'll have this engagement again.
Thank
Professor George K.T. ODURO was chair National Education Forum Committee, now technical advisor to the Minister of Education, and of course Dr. Sam AWUKU, member National Education Forum Committee, and an independent education and development consultant. We'll take Doc's number and we'll still continue to engage him on national issues, education and development as consistently as we can. But nice to see you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you very much.
And congratulations on the work done.
Thank you, and pray for me too.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, we are most grateful.
Well, that concludes our show for today. And we'll see you tomorrow with another edition of the Gold Morning Conversation live on Radio Gold 90.5 FM. Of course, we're live on Facebook, where Kofi Aira is telling us that in the UK, furniture upholstery, special craft, cabinet making, carpentry are highly skilled courses in the college. To obtain theory and practical certification from City and Girls, you can continue to do BTech in designing, producing. And that's where their recommendations intend to take us to. I am Sana Number. We'll see you tomorrow.